it's like a hopeful and a melancholy song at the same time. It's kind of like you have an invisible string with somebody your entire life and you don't know what's going to happen because you're kind of in a holding pattern with that person. And but again, you just love that person and you just want things to be peaceful and to be okay. And I think it's just a really cool song that explores that idea of spiritual connection in a way that is digestible, I think, for
Hmm.
people instead of being like, oh, too spiritual about it. But that song ended up getting, I mean, where's it at? 114,000 views on Instagram. Like, I don't know. And I know views aren't the biggest metric that you look at in social media, but it definitely tells me that the song is something and I'm excited about it. That comes out in 2026 too.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Creativity Worth Expressing. I'm your host, Ryan Anthony Hernandez, and today we have an awesome guest coming from the best city in all of Texas, coming from San Antonio. And I have to say, I love San Antonio. I live there too, so represent. But I have to give a shout out. I have to welcome our guest today, who is an amazing singer, and not only an amazing singer, but an amazing person. Please kindly welcome to the podcast our guest today, Olya V. Olya, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, Ryan. You're amazing too, and I'm very blessed that we met. We have a pretty, I guess, related backstory to an extent. So,
Yes, we do. Yes. But we were going to highlight today more about the
Mhm.
beauty of your creativity, your music, and of course that does connect with a bit of your backstory. But today we want to explore the beauty of your art, which is music. So to get started, can you tell us what kind of music do you make?
Of course, yeah, no problem. So I am a cinematic pop songwriter, but I do tend to kind of borrow from other genres sometimes. It really depends. I am a singer-songwriter, so I do have music that is out on Spotify and other places like that. We'll get to that later. But I also write for sync placements, and sync placements are for film, TV shows, and things like that.
And what is the name of your music? Like, is there a special, like a brand name for it so that people in the audience, if they want to listen, they can like go and check it out?
Yeah, of course. So I am under Olya V, Olya space V, and you can find me on Spotify, Apple Music, all these different, I don't know, there's a bunch of different places I ended up distributing it on. But if you, I mean, I'll say it later too, but Instagram is OLYAV Music, MUSIC, and that is also on Facebook and TikTok.
And something I love, I just have to point it out. I love your voice. I feel like I'm ready for like a hypnosis session already. So,
That's the point. That's the whole thing. I want people to listen to it. I could even go really farther into it. All right, everybody, we're gonna breathe out. Two. No, I'm kidding.
well, thank you for that. It really, really brings me a big smile, and I hope it brings a big smile to those in the audience because we're gonna have a lot of fun today.
Mhm.
So now that we've established your form of art, your form of creativity, which is music, songwriting, I always like to go back. I like to explore each guest's creative journey. So for you, was there a moment, or do you have a memory when it just sparked this love for not only music but for creativity in general?
So that's an interesting question because I have always been a very creative person, even when I was a kid. I mean, my parents told me one of the first things as a baby that I did was sing in my crib. And so it's always just been something that has been part of me. I don't think there was ever a moment where I said, oh, I am a creative person. I think it was just always ingrained. However, I do think there were a couple of built upon moments where I realized it was something I could actually pursue because for a long time I was told, oh, go to law school, go do all these other things. And I did, take the LSAT and all these other stuff and kind of grateful I didn't actually go through with that because I don't think I would have been happy. But I I'm trying to think of one split moment. But I really think it was a matter of doing things anyway and then having to process the emotions that came up with that and then moving forward again. So I think a good example of that would have been when I was on international TV earlier this year for Una Voce per San Marino. For those of you that don't know, Eurovision, the Eurovision Song Contest, is a huge contest in Europe, and it's actually starting to expand now. It was started during World War II to unite countries, from what I understand, and it's really cool. Basically, it's kind of like the Olympics, but larger. You choose a band or a person from each country and you compete musically. It's really epic and theatrical and crazy. I love it. And I auditioned. That's a cool story as to how I got to figure out about that competition, because a lot of Americans don't know about it. But being on international TV and being placed with so many other talented artists that had 30,000 people coming to their concerts, and I'm over here, I'm still kind of building myself. Yes, I have a full out brand and I am now taking it more seriously, but I'm still at the start of that journey. And so being placed with all these people that were already farther along in performance, I had some imposter syndrome with that. And I definitely didn't perform to my best of my ability on that television show. Because of that, it hit me literally as soon as I got up there. My brain said, "Why are you even here? You don't belong here." And the cameras were rolling. I was like, "Why now?
Yeah.
Why are we doing this now?" But I still got through the song. People still liked it. I think that was probably the shock. That came way later, was I found out people actually really liked it. But again, we can talk about that more later. But after the show, I had to sit down and process. Like, I wouldn't be placed in that place if I wasn't good. You don't really make it to that level of things if you are, maybe not meant to do this to an extent. So it really, I would say, clicked into place that, maybe I really should give this a genuine chance to work, because it actually might. And so far, things are going kind of well. Things are moving quicker than I expected. Let me say that.
Wow. So I'm just fascinated at hearing your story about being welcomed to go to, and I'm probably gonna butcher it, Una voce per San Marino or something.
You got it.
Or did I get it? Okay, I'm like trying to think here, like I'm trying to memorize. I've been trying to repeat it over and over on the mirror, looking at myself. Okay, una voce.
Una voce per... Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
It's actually called Eurovision San Marino now. They changed the name, so you can
Oh,
just call it Eurovision San Marino.
okay, Eurovision. That's simpler, but nonetheless, you were able to go to another part of the world, Europe, and mind you, yes, you did get butterflies in your stomach, but still, you were on stage, which is amazing and fascinating. But I would like to explore the first time you sang publicly, because
Ooh,
or was that your first time singing publicly, or did you have
no.
another like first time of public singing? Can you take us to that first time?
I would cry if being on international TV was my first time performing live. Oh my goodness. I wouldn't be able to. My first time performing for other people that I can remember actually was probably at Fiesta, Texas, when I was probably 14 or 15. And there was an American Idol audition, and I auditioned for American Idol with, I think it's called Where Is Your Heart by Kelly Clarkson. I was obsessed with her, and I was shaking. I could not. I was a child, right? I was really young. Um, I don't remember. I'm trying to remember what happened if I went through to another round. But I don't think I did that time. I ended up going through to more rounds later, and then my parents didn't let me move forward after I got invited to go to like Nashville at one point for an
Oh.
American Idol, but I'm kind of glad it didn't work again. In hindsight, you're like, maybe that wasn't the best, because sometimes you get locked into a contract you don't want to be in. So
And did you meet like Simon Cowell and all that?
no, this was like early audition. So the way that those TV shows work is you typically will audition for not the big judges first. You audition for people that are like producers. Like, is this enough of a story? They don't just want talent. They want a story. They want
Drama?
drama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you ready to bring the drama or more talent?
Not at 15. I couldn't talk about that part about it, I think. My drama comes from my backstory, not from, me acting a certain way. Although I do have more of a, I guess, set theme of how I am as an artist now and how I like to look. and dress with it, which I guess can be a little more dramatic, at least in my mind of what I want it to become over time, because I build it over time, because it isn't cheap. You know, you have to go and find the right things and then buy the outfits. Yeah.
So we've like kind of touched upon a bit of your backstory, but not really opened up about it. Would you like to maybe give us a brief glimpse on what your background is, and if that background in any way in, impacted your form of creativity?
Oh, that's cool. Okay. So yeah, we can touch on this for sure. And I know you said you have another podcast. We can go deeper into it. So I'll just give you the cliff notes for now. Spark notes? Yeah. So I was adopted from Moscow, Russia when I was 2 years old, about 18 months, but rounded up to two-ish. Um, and well, there's a couple tiers. So I actually am West Asian and Europe, and also Ukrainian. I found that out more recently when I did some DNA research. I went mini viral on TikTok for DNA genetic stuff because I was doing searches. It was really cool, and I helped a couple people with that, which was a blessing, honestly, I think. Was adopted by a family in America that was not very good. It was not very safe, let's just say that. And I ended up escaping at the age of 24. And I've just been kind of getting my life together on my own ever since. While I was living with that family unit, I was not really, it was kind of interesting because I do remember that I was offered singing lessons at one point, but it was in a very like focused on how I'm not great. And when I was a kid, that was hard for me. I didn't understand because I wasn't really good at criticism when I was younger, just because of how I grew up. So that was kind of rough. But then anytime anything actually bigger could have happened, it was always no, like it wasn't pushed forward. It was called a hobby. I wasn't really treated like it was a real thing. I played viola though for a long time. I played viola from elementary school all the way into college. I still have my viola actually. For those of you that don't know, a viola is like a big violin. It's very nice.
Yeah.
And then I play piano as well and guitar. I'm trying to think if, I guess orchestra affected my musical style. I really like symphonic metal, like Evanescence, a lot. I think it's really cool to add in like a classical feel to something a little more rough. I think that's a really cool design choice musically. But yeah, I would say being in orchestra and being in a full orchestra, because I actually had the opportunity to be in a full orchestra with a band. And that experience, if you haven't done it, certain pieces, like if you haven't heard Scheherazade Movement 4, go listen to it.
Okay.
It gives you like chills. But anyway, I'm becoming an orchestra nerd now. Continue.
No, it's okay to nerd out because this podcast is all about creativity. So go for it.
Yeah, no, it's just there's some really good pieces. Mahler's another really good one. That's not a piece. Mahler's actually a composer, but so good.
So did you? I mean, so yeah, so you make music today,
Mhm.
but like, did you like study, like go to school for like strict teaching on music theory and all that?
So that's really funny. I almost kind of did, but no. In high school, I took music theory, and funny enough, actually, I was that the first? No, that was not the first time. That was when I ended up writing a song that won the local competition for the PTA competition for talent among people in the school district. And the song that I wrote from that music theory class actually won that award, which was really cool. It was called Sweet Lullaby. I wouldn't mind remaking it as an adult, but it definitely fit I can't unhear it with my younger voice, so I'd have to like recreate it. But it's a very pretty song. It was very like, it really was kind of orchestral and almost a little bit classical feeling. It definitely didn't sound like that much pop, but kind of, I guess. Anyway, yeah, I did music theory, and then I actually did audition for music scholarships. I got into UIW here on a full music scholarship. I don't remember. I went to UTSA here in Texas, San Antonio for a bit. I do think I got a somewhat of a scholarship there, but it wasn't a full scholarship. I know that for sure. And then my parents kind of forced us to move to Florida. about a year into me going to college-ish. I didn't want to, but I look back at it, I do actually think it wasn't terrible because I learned a lot and I grew as a person. So I don't really have any ill feelings about moving at this point per se. Tampa was a really good experience and I met some wonderful people and even got to pursue more of music there. Granted, Texas is a lot better for music pursuing, I guess, in terms of my type of music, but we can go there later. When I moved to Tampa, I again auditioned with my viola to college and I got a partial scholarship to the University of Tampa, and that's where I ended up going. I believe is that what happened? I got a partial scholarship somewhere. I do believe it was the University of Tampa because it wasn't huge, but it was still there. And I remember it being kind of a big deal. Sorry. So for those of you that don't know, when you've gone through a lot as a youngling, sometimes your memories are a little jumbled and you don't really remember things perfectly, but you know that stuff happened, you just don't always know how to connect the exact things that happened. So yeah. Anyway, I do know that I do believe I got a small scholarship to the University of Tampa, and that's why I ended up going.
Okay.
But I went for advertising, public relations, and neuroscience. So I did not go for music. I wanted to try to apply to Juilliard or one of those bigger schools, but my parents, they did not want that at all. So that did not happen, but it's okay. I'm still where I need to be, probably just a little later than I wanted to be there.
So it sounds like you've had many obstacles, but still here you are today, just going forward. But when did you make that transition to start making your own music?
So I have actually been making my own music for a very long time. The first song I ever wrote was about dogs. I was like 6 or 5 maybe. It was called What Do Puppies Do? Yeah. I wrote it in the bath.
Do you remember it? Can you sing it?
I only remember it was like, what do puppies do? What do puppies do? And then something else about dogs. And it kind of had the same like thing. I probably could make it like a kid's song. I could probably remake it into a kid's song. Yeah.
It's super cool.
It was, I look back on that. I'm like, that's actually adorable though. I used to like pretend I had a microphone when I was like in the bath and be like, I had talk shows. I don't know if anyone else ever did that. You do like talk shows and then it's like echoey in like the bath area. Yeah. And so, okay. Anyway, so that was the first like song I wrote, but I would say the first one, what was the first song I like wrote kind of more adult-ish? Because I was still pretty young when I wrote my first song. I want to say, okay, I'll do this one because I don't remember like the first piano song I wrote or whatever, but I do remember the first song I wrote using Logic Pro or Logic on the iPad. That song was called Weak Heart, and I just decided I wanted to try using Logic to make something more than just, singing randomly to myself. And I used to sing a lot of covers around that time too. This is about high school-ish, early high school. Naturally, I had a little crush on a dude, and I wrote the song about the crush I had on the dude. Wasn't a big deal. It was just a like small thing. You know how we are in high school, in early high school. We're just like, oh my God, yeah. But it's a cute song. Like, it's definitely not like fully the style I have now. But the song is like, oh gosh, you make my heart go weak. Oh, I can't sleep. Something, da-da-da. I don't remember all the lyrics. It's been a long time. Logic, so again, for those of you that don't know, if you don't use or update Logic after a while, files will corrupt and they'll stop working and you'll not be able to listen to the whole thing. And it's kind of annoying. So Apple, fix it. Thank you. Anyway. And keep them working after so we can at least have them. Yeah.
And did the guy ever hear you sing the song? Did you ever like say hey to your crush or anything?
He was one of my friends. He was in my friend group. I had a friend group that we would all kind of hang out before school started. I don't remember if I ever showed him the song, although that was my personality when I was younger. I did not have a filter on it at all until I don't know, probably college time. It took me a minute to like grow and develop and become a more healed person, I'm going to say. I would definitely say people-pleasing tendencies happened a lot there, but he was cool. Him and I still are in contact. He's a friend. I have no interest in this person now that he's married, he has kids. I'm so happy for him, actually. Like, I'm so happy for him. I'm trying to think. So Weak Heart was one of them. I then had a couple more. I think the first album I started putting together were actually songs that I wrote. I tend to write about my personal experiences. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I write because I'm bored. Catwalk, my song Catwalk, it is on Spotify right now. That song was written because I asked my mom one day, my adoptive mom, I was like, hey, I'm bored. Give me something to write about musically. And she said, a catwalk. And I was like, bet, cool. And so I went to my room and I wrote Catwalk. um, so that's sometimes how a song is written, but a lot of my songs are written based on personal experience. And I have to admit, I actually think that can sometimes create the best songs, depending on what you're trying to get out of the song.
And that was sort of like my next question that I was going to ask you, because we see your very first song about dogs, correct?
Yeah.
That very first song was written in the bath, the very back where you have that, or somewhere, right? You said that first song was written in the bath,
Yeah.
and then later you wrote a song because you had this crush on this guy. So we see how it changes, how the rituals behind, or like the techniques behind the actual writing process. So today now, if you make a song or if you're making an album, do you have a like a routine, or do you just ask for somebody for like a topic, or how does it work for you?
So I don't ask as much now just because I know kind of the things I can look into. For example, so I'll talk about the Prism Tour in a little bit. I'm sure it'll come up, but coming up in 2026, the next phase, I'll call it, of the Prism Tour is more like empowerment of the collective. I have a lot of love songs that I was showing and performing live, which are wonderful. I love my love songs. I was joking with my friends saying I was in a little bit in my sad girl era, and that's fine. We all have a sad girl, sad boy era. It's all good. But the songs that are coming out now are more, I guess empowerment forward. So for example, the song I sang on international TV will be coming out next year officially, which I'm so sorry to those of you that wanted that song out sooner. I know I totally fumbled the bag on that one. I love y'all. Thank you for still remembering that song from earlier this year. My goodness, y'all are amazing. Shout out. Anyway, so that one will come out. My song Justice. So Justice is an interesting story. That one actually will be coming out in February. And again, I say again because that song actually did come out originally a few years ago, and it was when I produced it on my own. I learned a lot about production through that song, and I've gotten better to the point where my songs are can actually be like pushed over to sync placements, which is crazy. My strategist was like, yeah, this is good enough. I'm like, really? Are you sure? But at that point, I think it just became stylistic differences between me and another producer. It wasn't that I wasn't doing the bass stuff correct. Anyway, with Justice, though, I still wasn't at that point, and I just didn't like how it sounded when it first came out, and not a lot of people looked at it either. So I was like, you know what? I think this song deserves a real shot of being produced well. So I decided to, because it also is pretty orchestral. Like Justice is interesting because it does have an orchestral bass, but it also has an instrument that's used in trap music. One instrument. People think it's trap because of that. It's not. It's dark pop, but whatever. I digress. Um, yeah, but the song, it's pretty cool. Like it sounds pretty good. I really like the cinematic aspects that we added. I'm working with A2R Sound Labs. He's amazing. I will definitely be repping him some more, but you guys can go look him up. He does really great EDM and cinematic work. I would definitely recommend him, probably more for people who are looking for instrumentals or EDM music. He's learning through me how to do kind of pop stuff a little bit, which is okay. We're all learning different things, but he's absolutely amazing. Like he was nominated for the best orchestra production person in Mexico. Sorry, I had to hype him up for 2 seconds because he's actually just really fantastic. Okay.
What's his name?
Arturo, but he goes by A2R Sound Labs. He doesn't really like to be he likes to be more private. So he goes just by A2R Sound Labs, but yeah.
Cool. I'm glad you were able to hype him up. And all of us were learning, but it's great to hear that musicians and sound technicians and everybody is able to collaborate. Because it's awesome. It's like an orchestra.
It really is, honestly. But it's going to be exciting. I mean, I have probably the song I'm most excited about, actually, that's going to come out next year. Well, I have two, actually. One of them is in the first set of songs that I have that I'm currently recording and getting ready to come out. This is like the first time I've been so organized getting my songs out, too. I'm so excited. I tried to do that about 2 years ago, but I worked with the wrong company and it just didn't, yeah, it didn't go how I expected, but I learned, right? Anyway, so the song that I really am excited about is called We Could Have Peace. That song was something I wrote for the first time I auditioned for Una Voce per San Marino. I auditioned twice. The second time is when I ended up going on international TV as a semifinalist. But the first time, I was still learning, I think, and I understand why it didn't get past the full. And also, I didn't have a professional producer at that point. But I wrote We Could Have Peace specifically for Eurovision. And the song is partially in Ukrainian and partially in English. And it doesn't bash anybody. It just basically says, what are we doing? Why are we hating each other? Like, our kids are seeing this. Do you really want them to see this? But it sounds like a war song. And it purposely it's got some pretty deep meaning to it. The song was so, and I'm going to say this tells me it probably was well done, that even though the judges didn't push me forward, they physically came up to me after and shook my hand and said, thank you for writing that song. So I know that there's something really special about it. And I honestly think it might be my best work. And you guys haven't heard it yet. People listening, they're like, well, what song? It's like, you'll hear it later in 2026, probably mid 2026. The other song I'm really excited about is actually one that I wrote in Espanol, in Spanish. I'm excited about that. I've been working on my Spanish a lot. I keep it I manage it with like Duolingo just to make sure I don't forget anything when I can't do real studying. But I ended up writing a song in Spanish, and I'm very, very excited about that one. That one probably will come out in late 2026 just because I'm still learning how to memorize Spanish words, and I have to, my brain is still kind of doing this thing where it wants to translate things before I can like do it. So when I'm singing, I can't really think about the meaning as easily yet, but I know what the words mean. The song itself is about loving somebody and loving them, hoping that you'll be with that person, but loving them enough where you actually get genuine joy out of watching them choose themselves. It's a really cool song.
And it sounds beautiful. So I can't wait to hear it and to also check out the lyrics. Because you're very great at writing. I mean, you have a very good talent at really putting in a lot of heart into the lyrics. And I know because I've heard your music. It's really well written.
Thank you so much. I'm very blessed. I think that it kind of just comes to me. I genuinely mean that too. I don't sit down technically and write lyrics very often. Maybe I'll switch out words here and there sometimes, but if I'm really sharp and I'm feeling an emotion, words will just happen. It's
like magic.
It really is. I'm like, cool, I'll take it. Why not? Like Invisible String, that one. Oh my gosh. And I kind of knew that song would do well when I wrote it. I said, for some reason, I feel like this is going to do very well. Again, it's a love song. It's kind of it's like a hopeful and a melancholy song at the same time. It's kind of like you have an invisible string with somebody your entire life and you don't know what's going to happen because you're kind of in a holding pattern with that person. And, but again, you just love that person and you just want things to be peaceful and to be okay. And I think it's just a really cool song that explores that idea of spiritual connection in a way that is digestible, I think, for people, instead of being like, oh, too spiritual about it. But that song ended up getting, I mean, where is it at? 114,000 views on Instagram. Like, I don't know. And I know views aren't the biggest metric that you look at in social media, but it definitely tells me that the song is something and I'm excited about it. That comes out in 2026 too.
Well, that's how I discovered you, was actually through Instagram, social media. Like, And then I see there, I think you were doing a performance as one of your concerts, and it's just a clip. And I see there San Antonio. I'm like, oh, dang, but this is just the power of today's era where we can connect not only by listening on the radio, because before everything was controlled by the radio and television, but now you can just put your own content there and it can just reach so many more people, and it can be just so inspirational. And that's what your music provides. It's not just a good beat, it's not only a good voice, which it is, but it's also good lyrics. So yeah, I hope that you really are just so proud of what you've done.
Thank you. I am. I am proud of listening to my intuition as well. Actually, I have tips for those of you that, are maybe youngling musicians, or you're just kind of getting started. Something that I did. I'm a manifester, so I manifest things into my life, and that doesn't mean I don't do anything. It means I say what I want, and then I have an action that goes with it, and then I let the universe do the rest. Is how I see it. This is not something I made up. There's actually like a whole belief system called Wu Wei in China that does exactly this. I love it. I'm obsessed with it. Go look it up. Anyway, so when I started doing music and I wanted to connect more with people in California, because LA is actually a lot of, a lot of musicians that do like more my music type are usually around LA in that area. And so I was like, all right, I should probably build some connections. And I said, spirit, universe, if I am meant to have connections in LA for music, I'm going to start following some important musician related things in that area and start interacting with it. Have somebody that's going to help me move forward in my music career follow me or approach me for something from LA. And a few months later, I ended up having a person, Christiana Sudano, and you guys can check her out too. She's amazing. She owns Do Less Management. She's connected to the community in a very direct way. I'll say that. She approached me, she DM'd me, and she said that she was doing a giveaway for management for a month for somebody. And she said, you look like you would be really good for this. And of course, I questioned it at first. I was like, I did this with the wrong company before. Like, is this correct? And she talked it through with me. And we agreed to do 1 month working together. I didn't win the giveaway, but I decided to pay her to work with her just to see, if there was a benefit for 1 month. Why not? And there really was. Like, she ended up helping me have more of a strategy for social media. She ended up helping me build out what I wanted for my clothing and kind of how I should present myself, on, the actual, I guess, social media platforms. She helped me to get into mostly sync licensing. That was actually the bigger thing. So even though she did help with the social media stuff, she connected me to a lot of things like that, but mostly showed me what to do. She mostly was like, hey, you need to have this. Here's what you do to make this professional. And she was really, really helpful with that. So if y'all want to check out Do Less Management, I will tell you it's not like a cheap option, but it is an option that is helpful and good. It made it so I could easily, apply for some sync briefs in 5 minutes that I would not have been able to do without her recently. So I'm really grateful.
So we've discussed a bit about your creative journey, how you started, and also about some projects that are or some music that's going to be coming out in 2026. And at the time of this recording, it is towards the end of 2025.
Mhm.
So I have a quick question for you. If you look back at this whole entire year, what are some music or memories related to music that stand out?
Quite a few, actually. I would say, I mean, obviously being in San Marino, and it wasn't just being on TV, it was like being connected to all the people that were in the competition, meeting new friends. I did make some new friends and people that really valued what we were doing. Galena, please go sit. I have two dogs, for those of you that don't know. I have a husky and a wolf dog, and they need my attention if I don't pay attention to them after like 30 minutes. They're okay, though. Yeah, definitely going to another country, getting to experience that was really, really special. But I'll also say when I did 502 Bar, I played at 502 earlier this year. Actually, not even earlier. I would say it was like towards the end of the year. Like, It's kind of insane. Once I started playing live in San Antonio, things kind of dominoed really fast for me, and I got booked and booked and booked more. And that's partially because the method I use in posting in my socials is if people question my talent, I'll just show you what I do and you can decide for yourself. That's kind of my, I like the proof is in the pudding type of work. I don't like to just tell people what I do because I know a lot of people talk, but they don't show it, and I prefer to show it before I talk. But it, I think it was really special to be at 502 because it gave me such cool footage. I decided to actually get real footage from it, and that is really what took off. Like, I mean, those posts are what got the most views on my profile so far because it's just beautiful lighting. The sound was amazing. Performing at the Starlighter is another memory. I got to perform with band friends I made. I've made friends with bands around the area, and I know you said you were going to ask about like bands I recommend. I'll tell you about my friends in a bit, but like being able to play with them was really special because you don't always get to do that, you know? And it feels less like a performance and more like you're hanging out and jamming with your friends, even though you're like playing next to them. It is a show and you're still professional, but it just kind of has a different energy to it. Let's see what other, I played a bunch of other places. Tandem SATX was amazing. I loved meeting all the people there. Everyone's so friendly. The artists there were fantastic. I did enjoy Clover Club. I thought it was cool to meet. Again, I just meet new people in all the places that I perform, and I'm so grateful that I've been getting these opportunities to do that. It's been a blessing. Like I'm putting the work in, but it has been a blessing.
And how do you see yourself evolving, not only for 2026, but beyond?
Evolving as a
Music
musician.
as a musician, yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Sorry. I would say I do want to be more in sync. My plan is actually to become a sync artist to the point where that is my income. So I don't have a day job on top of music. That is my income, and then I perform live because I want to, not because I have to. But I do enjoy performing live, so I don't see myself stopping. I would like to keep building. I actually have a goal of playing the Stable Hall right now, so I'm trying to build a fan base that basically I can show them and be like, these people would come to my show. Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, thank you so much. We're going to be wrapping up soon, but I also wanted to ask, who are some other artists out there, musicians that you suggest we keep an eye out for?
Yeah. So I have a couple people that I think are doing really well. Riley Hall is one of them. She's somebody that I got to meet. She's super sweet and she's fun. Her music is different than mine, but I think it's fun. It's light. Even some of her songs that are more sad girl-esque. I don't know. They have a lighter component to them, and I think that's really amazing. And there's a good place for it. She's very energetic, like in a good way. Her energy is beautiful, so that's wonderful. Present Tunes is amazing, guys. I don't know why these people aren't famous yet, honestly. Present is an amazing band. They are more of like a rock kind of feel to them, rock folk almost. I don't know what they actually identify as, but they are just absolutely outstanding. I'm trying to think of other ones that I do play with Clovers. Clovers is pretty good as well. And then what are some other bands? Oh my gosh. I want to say Love Galena. I don't remember the band's name, but if you search up, I think it's Love Galena, you'll find the singer. She's, I believe, still in college, but she has a beautiful voice and definitely check her out. She's in San Antonio. All these are San Antonio peeps.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing. And now I wanted to ask you, Olya, why is creativity important for you?
Creativity gives me life. I feel like I have to create. I don't feel like it's an option. I feel like if I don't, my life, I mean, as weird as it sounds, I don't know if it's really worth being here if I don't get to create things. Just because I have a lot of emotions, I have big emotions, and I have to put them somewhere. But I also genuinely enjoy how music sounds, how being creative sounds, and it's just something that helps me to help myself, and it also helps me help other people. So I think it's beautiful. It means connection too, actually. Yeah, connection.
Well, thank you so much for sharing. I loved listening to your music, and I loved having you as a guest. And where can people in the audience listen to your music? Where should they subscribe and all that cool stuff?
Oh, subscribe. Yeah. I do have a YouTube channel if you want to subscribe there. Olya V Music, Olya V Music, Music. But I mostly post right now on Instagram and TikTok. So if you want to go there, I do have a subscription thing on TikTok if you want to check that out, just a little bit of behind the scenes work, and I'm building on that as I go. If you would like to also help me with my goal of going to play at the Stable Hall, I do have a link in my bio on Instagram. And it's basically a fan like form. It's really short, and basically it just asks, "Would you go to my show?" And then you get to say yes. And yeah, it's we in the music business, you have to prove that you have an audience. It's not just people don't just take your word for it typically. So yeah, that would be awesome. Spotify, Olya V as well.
Well, quick question with the stable, what is it called? Stable
Stable
room?
Hall. Yeah.
Stable hall. When is that going to be?
So I don't know when it's going to be yet because I haven't been able to talk to them. I have sent them a message before, but I haven't gotten anything back yet. And it's the holidays. I don't expect them to
Oh,
answer. Yeah. But I'm hoping by the end of 2026 I can get something, if not early 2027. I don't know how long it would take. I just know that it's a venue that can hold, I think, like 400 people. It might even be higher than that.
wow. All
So
right.
I mean, I think I can get away with proving I have 100 people that would go, and they would be like, sure.
So people in the audience, start getting in, what do you call it? Some vans and start coming to San Antonio and going to
There you go.
the stable hall. Come on, time to support.
Come on, come listen to some of
Yeah,
my music.
do
Definitely.
carpooling.
Yeah, there we go. Carpool all the way to San Antonio. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Olya. I really enjoyed talking to you, and of course, like I said, I've seen you play live, and that was just an inspirational and just a heartwarming experience. And again, thanks so much for being a guest. And to the audience, thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to check out Olivia's music on Spotify, YouTube, and all these other platforms. And if you enjoyed this episode, which I hope you did, please feel free to share it with others on Facebook, Instagram, wherever. Share it so that other people may discover the awesome talent and awesome music by our guest, Olya V. And don't forget to subscribe, follow, give a rating on Spotify. And if you would like to help me out, you can do so by buying me a coffee. That always helps me to stay caffeinated, awake, and alert, and just to keep on doing what I'm doing. And you can buy me a coffee by going to buymeacoffee.com/truth.h7. With all that being said, thank you so much for listening. And to Olya V, thank you so much for being an awesome guest here on Creativity Worth Expressing.
Yeah, thank you. And can I add one more thing that we forgot to mention briefly? So the Prism Tour, we forgot to talk about that. So very briefly, I just want to tell
Yeah.
people what that is. So
Yes.
the Prism Tour is what I actually built this year to show you what my journey of becoming a bigger musician is. It's literally me bringing you on that journey. So it's very much like when you have a reflection, like of a prism, the whole point is that when you connect with people, you become more of yourself and you connect with what you're meant to be and who you're meant to be. And so this is me basically being my authentic self and being like, come with me on the journey. Let's see what happens. And it's not a typical tour, and I'm hoping it becomes one. Basically, the idea is eventually I do book things out far enough where I have a whole tour list for it. But that's the short version. You can go to my socials to find out more.
Oh, okay. And when does the tour start? Is there like a start date plan?
So it already technically is happening. The Prism Tour Phase 1 was the end of 2025, and it was the rainbows and everything. If you've seen my recent posts, it was meant to be like a sunset of the Prism part of the Prism Tour, because now we're going to go into a little bit of a darker empowerment vibe for the tour, and then we'll come back out and do some other things. It is going to probably be quite long because I do want to build it out to something, I guess, a real tour. That would be really cool. It'd be fun.
So yeah, so audience, check that out too. Don't forget, subscribe to Olya
Yeah.
V, her music, all that fun stuff, her socials, and check out her Prism tour. I know I will. All right, thank you so much to the audience, and thank you, Olya. You rock.
You rock too. Thank you so much, Ryan.